Hello, my name is Daniel Brookshire, and I'm here again to give you another demo from our CATIA No Magic tools here at Dassault Systems. And today we're going to talk about SQL JDBC import. We'll also do some differencing and a customized template export DDL. So let's start with the code engineering set. This defines my connection criteria going out to a MySQL local database. In fact, here it is. This has a bunch of tables, and the tables all have different columns in them. There's some foreign keys here as well. Let me close that up. Let's reverse this. Get a little warning that we're going to overwrite the model, which is fine. We're going to visualize this when we bring it in. And select where we're going to put that diagram that we're creating. And there we go. If we zoom in just a little bit, you can see the tables, the foreign keys. Probably needs a little more arrangement, but it's done it. It's pretty much as is. Our tool does a couple of things that might seem weird to a couple of people. For instance, this default directory. This just accounts for some of the items that we have in the database that may have, or in our profile, that are not quite matching my import. That's probably just because the case is incorrect coming from the original database design, but that's pretty easy to fix. So let's go ahead and save this to Cameo Cloud, or I'm sorry, to Teamwork Cloud. So I'll commit the changes to the server. We'll say pre-change, because we're going to change that database and see what happens. Commit that. While that's working, I'm going back to MySQL, and I'm going to add a new row here. I'll say new column. We'll keep it as varchar. Let's apply this change. And let's go ahead and create a new table. I'll just say there's an index. And we'll keep it as int. I'm not going to get fancy with this. I just want something to change in the table. All right. We'll go back to the tool, go back down to the code engineering set, and we'll do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to reverse it. We aren't going to visualize this time. I'm going to do that by hand. And it's done. Pretty simple. If we look in the database, we can see all our tables. There's that new table. Let me bring that one onto the screen. You can see it has that new index that I created. Pretty simple. And then let's look for the other table. And there is our change where we added a new column. So it's pretty easy to understand what it's done. But really, if I was doing this import and it was after a lot of changes to the database, it's a little difficult to know what's happened. So what I'm going to do is go back up to the database, and we're going to go to the content history, select the current version, and what this does by double-clicking on this is it gives me a difference between what I have in the current model and what's up on the server. And you can see there's our new table, there's our new column, but even that is, I mean, it's okay, but let's visualize this a little better. by doing a compare projects, and this will create a visual comparison. There we go. I'll open up what we stored the schema, and now you can see that I have a new table here. If I go down to traces, you can see that I have a new column here. So pretty simple, does the job. It's not hard at all, and pretty powerful. So the next thing I want to show you is how we can use our reporting function to generate DDL. So this does write DDL, but for a lot of customers, they really like to customize what that final output is. You'll be able to do things that we don't normally support for particular databases and particular versions of databases. So I prefer to create a DDL, and I only have just a simple one for customers. Normally you would write this yourself. I can provide my base template, but it does need a little bit more work to do what somebody would do. I'm not a what they need. I'm not a DBA, and I don't do all this a lot. Oops, I want to show you this first. Here is that template. Let's go ahead and open it to see what it looks like inside. There we go. So this is a Velocity template. Velocity is an open source project out on Apache that's used to create templates. Normally it's used for web pages, but I'm using this to generate DDL for database schemas. So let's just run it. I think I've got it all set up. Yep. And we'll generate it and see what we get. So there it is. As I said, this isn't perfectly clean and probably needs a few edits. There's some extra commas hanging about, but you can see that it's pretty much doing the job. You can see how it's creating the primary keys. This particular one isn't really set up to do the foreign keys yet, but you can easily add a little bit of code to do that. Other things that I've done is partition tables and things like that. So it's pretty powerful, and you're in complete control when you do it this way. It just takes a little bit of work and a little bit of understanding of the tool. Well, that's all I have. Well, that's it. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments. And remember to subscribe so that you can get any of my new tutorials. Thank you.